Happy Thanksgiving, ex-assinators. You know what time it is. It's Wednesday night in the SNA podcast. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the latest edition of AEW Dynamite, which is the post-show Thanksgiving Eve edition of the Wednesday night show. And yeah, and their favorite place they were located at was in Chicago, Illinois. The favorite spot, like on the post-show, the post-show after the biggest pay-per-view that they have of the year. And we're going to talk about what happened, like with matches, like including Chris Jericho versus Tomohiro Ishii, which I thought that was going to be the main event. But I totally forgot this was the week of that they're going to be starting the Continental Classics, and unfortunately, we won't be seeing the Speedball Mike Bailey. Maybe the reason why, is because maybe they're negotiating him at the last minute, and they didn't have enough time to get him ready to be booked to be in part of this tournament. But it's still gonna be a good one, and I hope it's gonna be like whoever wins is gonna be the one to dethrone the rain-making bitch man Kazuchika Okada in his reign of terror, like the other wrestlers, like Private Party and Daniel Garcia did to the scapegoat of upcrying people, and those irresponsible EVPs decide to work from home that cannot even run the Target or even inside the wrestling facilities. But anyways, we also got some very shocking twists and turns of event, like with alliance splitting and then announcements for AEW. What they call Winter is Coming, and it's going to be in the best city in the United States, which I'm going to get into later on. And also, we're going to be seeing we see a couple matches that's been announced for that, and we got some matches that's going to be happening this Saturday at AEW Collision, which is going to be hours before the Survivor Series. Where that even came from? Survivor Series pay-per-view event, which that's going to be all the Saturday. I cannot hardly wait for that, and for other things this weekend for the SNA podcast. But without any further delays, let's get started with the first match, which is the first round onto the Blue Leagues, if I'm not mistaken, of the Continental Classic. And this was the Standard of Greatness and the chief officer of the Hurt Complaint Department, of the Hurt Syndicate. And again, there was Shelton Benjamin taking on what's his name, Mark Briscoe. Before Mark Briscoe came out, we got a few words from the leader of the Hurt Syndicate faction, and that was Montel Voltavious Porter, MVP. And that's where they had that very catchy song, like, we hurt people, which that's starting to be my favorite song, even though it's kind of sound a little bit annoying when you say we hurt people way too many times. But you get the point. It still have a catchy tune because it's these guys that love him. And it's where the MVP is like, before we start this match, well, we're the Hurt Syndicate that coming live in Chicago, Illinois, in your city. This is where fans are cheering. It's where it's like, but now, like, this is not all about me. It's about the Standard of Greatness right here, my Ray. And then he's like the Sean Payton, and this is the Michael Jordan of professional wrestling. But he pointed at Shelton Benjamin as Sean Payton, and Bobby Lashley is in his right, Michael Jordan of professional wrestling. This is where and from there, giving him some huge praises to his teammates. This is where fans are chanting MVP. It's like, wow, I got some fans in Chicago. I did not know. This is where it's like no, guys. It's not about me. It's about the syndicate and about the blessing that we preach here. Let me give you some fair play here. When MVP offers you his business card of an opportunity in a one-way ticket to success, and when you join the Hurt, not only did you join the Hurt, what we did, and it's gonna give you and it's an opportunity that's going to change your life for the better. And if you're smart enough, if you're like Swerve Strickland, well, I feel sorry for you suckers. And it's where it is and if you're not, if you're not exactly smart like Swerve Strickland, you got messagizes of arrogance, and this is where fans start chanting, "Whose house? Swerve's house," and this is where everybody started chanting. I was like, "Uh-oh, we shouldn't have mentioned that guy's name." But I was surprised that Swerve didn't came out once he had his name mentioned. But that's a different conversation for a different time, I guess you say on this video. But anyways, where MVP to continue saying, "I do feel that way," Like, because the Bobby Lashley, for your information, like at Full Gear this past Saturday, like he beat the complete snot out Swerve Strickland. He's like, and then you're being confused on whose house it is. Like, how about we take a look at what the big screen with showing Bobby Lashley completely dominating poor Swerve with a Dominator, a Spear, and the Hurt Lock to put him to sleep. This is where MVP then had. I then continue with statement by saying, again, my client and my right, and my Hurt Syndicate business partner, Bobby Lashley, beat a former world champion. He's like, and Swerve Strickland, like, may be a former AEW world champion, but he's not a dangerous man in all of professional wrestling. It's most specifically AEW. Like, Bobby Lashley is the most dangerous man in AEW. Yeah, he took that spot. And Bobby Lashley also is a walking Armageddon as well. And it is where then MVP's like, let me make something very clear. Like in our initial statement, we come here like to take like championship titles, like, and then we leverage those championship titles like for more money and more power. Like, that is what the business, like, we hurt people. And this is where then he also said he was like, and we are the we are the mayors of misery, and we're the professionals of pain. Like, and then we're getting we're gonna kick off the Continental Classic tonight, like, which is the perfect way to debut the standard of greatness. Like, this is where the MVP's in. Like it'll be this guy on my left, Shelton Benjamin, gonna take the dub right here and get the first 3 points of the tournament. I cannot make it even more clear. We are the absolute best in the industry, like, in absolute misery. Like, and what the hell we do? Like, we hurt people, like, which that's the line of their theme song, which I start dying with laughter. I was like, he's definitely getting not only one golden trophy of Goofy Wrestling of the night, but 2 of them, right? Because SNA feeling generous and in a happy mood. So why in the flub not? This is where then he gets that. And this is where we get the match, like, with what's his name coming out immediately, Mark Briscoe. They start going at it. Just definitely getting second place spot, silver trophy, baby. Like, which we got 2 silver trophy best matches of the night and 2 golden trophies. Well, we're gonna get into that in just a moment. But this is where we got Mark Briscoe then sent Bobby Lashley on the outside. This is where then he hit some chops, somebody to Barry's tombstone. This is where Shelton Benjamin fought right back, sent Mark Briscoe right to Simba to Steel Steps in the upper left side. The standard of greatness and excellence then rolled right back in the ring. This is where Mark Briscoe started trying to crawl right into the left side. This is where them guys Shelton Benjamin, all right, can you get out now? Can you get back up here? This is where Shelton Benjamin was like, all right, like, you know what? Like, if I can't get. Like, if you can't come to me, I'll come to you. This is where he tried to snake on him right to the ring post. Mark Briscoe was not no fool. He flipped right out of it, hits him face first right into the ring post, backfiring of Shelton's plan. But this is where Mark Briscoe went back in the ring, hit a suicide dive cannonball combination right into Shelton Benjamin. When Mark Briscoe, like, yeah, like, you're looking at the next Continental champion. I was like, well, as I hope it's one of y'all that get that title from that ugly bitch man. But this is where we got Mark Briscoe then grab Shelton Benjamin, hit a right hand to the face and a knife edge chop, which he must have earned himself like a #1 spot of Gunter's Ambulance, or one of the guys that that was wrestling in the main event, which that's also getting the golden trophy of. I mean, which is not also that's going to get a golden trophy, but we're going to get into that in just a moment. But this is where once he got on the top rope, this is where Shelton Benjamin saw him right up there, taking advantage of the moment, jump up right in the top turnbuckle, hit the belly-to-belly suplex right in the middle of the ring. We're sitting right towards the right side. This is where Shelton Benjamin was like, wow, I literally just did that. Like, I don't know when the last time I actually hit that maneuver. Like even if I did it on here on this show, like I guess it was I roughly remember it. But this is where we got Shelton Benjamin and send him right to the outside. This is where then he did his damages onto Mark Briscoe, send him right to the audience. This is where we got Shelton. This is where Shelton Benjamin did follow him right into the into the audience. This is where he tried to get himself up in the far back barricade, went to the second row. But he ends up getting haluva boot by Shelton. This is where then we got And then Shelton Benjamin trying to bring him back into the arena, but this is where we got Mark Briscoe fighting back. This is where Mark Briscoe like, I may be down, but I'm not out. This is where then they got back in the ring eventually. This is where then they continued their fighting, their back and forth contest. But this is where Shelton Benjamin got back in the offense side, just completely annihilating what's his name, Mark Briscoe, right to the bottom right side, start whacking him with right hands repeatedly, and some forearm strikes like boom, boom, boom. He was like I'm gonna be the next Continental Champion, which I hope he does be the Continental Champion. If not, Mark Briscoe or Darby Allin, maybe Brody King, Daniel Garcia. Like any of these guys except for Claudio and the Rain making biscuit iced tea chicken hotcakes, man. But this is where we got Mark Briscoe that said, hit me with another forearm strike. This is where Shelton Benjamin did so. This is where he turned to Superman from Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. This is where he didn't feel anything. This is where he hit the forearm strike right back at him. This is where then Shelton Benjamin shoves him right to the bottom right side. This is where he tried to hit him with left, right strikes, but this is where Mark Briscoe does. And so I hit some that redneck kung fu right to the face, like boom, boom, boom. And this is where then he hits the knife edge chop, which he's earned himself a spot at the number one spot at Gunther's Indie list of the night. This is where then he sends him right to the bottom right side. He goes for a clothesline, he gets kicked in the face instantly. This is where then he picks him up. This is where it's like, please hit my finisher. This was exactly what he did, but it was like the Velveteen Dream version of it. Dream Valley Driver, actually, rather than a Saz Valley Driver. This is where we got Mark Briscoe that was getting ready to hit the froggy elbow, which that's starting to be a very catchy move in all of professional wrestling with the hybrid of both, which he did so onto Shelton. This looked like he was about to win with this right then and there. But this is where once Mark Briscoe, after he executed the move, this is where he started clutching the rib of his. This is where he's like, I wish I could just have enough strength to crawl over there. But unfortunately, Shelton Benjamin rolled out of the ring just in time, just in the nick of time. This is where we got Mark Briscoe like, that's not gonna phase me. It's where he's like, I got these puppets right here. And it's where he's like, bang, bang. And it's where it's another froggy elbow. He must have found a double whammy right onto the apron in the left side. This is where we saw Mark Briscoe threw Shelton right back in the ring. This is where then he tried to go for a third time as a charm. This is where he thought he could see another froggy boa, but this is where I believe this third time wasn't the charm because he didn't found no third time the charm card. And second, we saw Shelton Benjamin got the knees up, so he definitely not going to be triple lucky. But this was Shelton Benjamin waiting for him to get back up. This where he hits him in a German suplex and made him knew he did a backflip like if he was his best friend from back in their NCAA days in Minnesota, the University of Minnesota, let me rephrase that. But this where then the standard, the greatness, and the chief officer of the Hurt Syndicate's complaint department, they hit another German suplex onto the former Ring of Honor champion. And I think they used to they wrestled each other in the tag division in Ring of Honor. Yeah, it was Mark Briscoe and his brother Jay Briscoe against the greatest tag team of him and Charlie Haas. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, assassinators. But I heard that they wrestled before, like it was in their tag team Ring of Honor days. But now it's an AEW like a little bit over a decade later. But anyway, this is where we got Shelton then picks up what's his name Mark Briscoe. This is where Mark Briscoe started elbowing him right to the face. This is where we got him to hit a step-up enzuigiri onto Shelton. This is where it fell sideways down. This is where we got Mark Briscoe then going for the double underhook, was it? Yeah. This is where then he tried to go for the J Driller, but this is where we got Shelton Benjamin then trying to counter it out of it, trying to flip him over to a body drop. This is where we got Briscoe to go for a sunset flip. This is where he only got a 2 even count. Shelton Benjamin tried to go for a boot right to the, but it's where he pulled a move that he did back like 19 years ago in 2005 when he faced the Heartbreak Kid, which I'm not sure if I should say his name because he's in another company, being their head writer on the Tuesday night show. But this is where we got Mark Briscoe groundless for a spin him around, but he hits a wheel kick right into the face, somewhere from those days. This is where we got the former Ring of Honor Tag Team and World Champion, they got sent right into the bottom left side. This is where we got Shelton Benjamin hit a knee strike right into the face. This is where we got Shelton and followed that up with a super kick right into the face. This is where we got after he hit the thrust kick, this is where he tried to go for a pin on the Mark, but Mark kicked out at 2.8. Shelton Benjamin was in disbelief. Mark Briscoe's like, "You cannot kill me," and it's where then Shelton Benjamin's like, man, like what this guy's made of? Like this guy's crazy, and this is where then Mark Briscoe like, "You damn right, I'm crazy, Shelton. Like you should know about me. Like we know each other for years." But this was Shelton Benjamin did not hear anything he said. He just completely ignored him and hit him with his finishing maneuver, which has used to be signature, the exploder T-bone stooplex right into the middle of the ring. This is where then he goes for a cover. He gets the 1, he gets the 2, and he gets the 3 to get the first win in the gold league, blue leagues. Yeah, it was the blue league of the tournament, which he gets there 3 points. And who do you think's gonna be winning this whole tournament? And who's gonna win the semifinals? Like most importantly, like at this time to be asking. But let me know in the comment section right down below where like either way. But this is where we got MVP celebrated along with Bobby Lashley. This is where they raised their hands. This is where they're like, "Yeah, our future Continental Champion." I was like, I hope so. Hope we can take down that bitch, man. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see who's gonna get the most wins, who's gonna be in the 3-way semifinals, and who's gonna be in the 1-on-1 finals at World's End, which that's like about how many weeks away? Like about 4 or 5 weeks away, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm counting it correctly. But let me know in the comment section right down below. But moving on, we got them hyping things up with the SNA's worst enemy. But this is where they not only showed him, but they also showed the likes of Claudio Castagnoli and what's his name? Darby Allin, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, Daniel Garcia, and what's his name? Mark Briscoe, Shelton Benjamin. Let's see, Brody King and more, which I need to see what's exactly the who's in the gold league exactly and who's in the blue league. But y'all know Shelton Benjamin and Mark Briscoe are in the blue leagues, of course. That's what they said. And then I believe it was in the I think Hangman Adam Page and who was the not Hangman. Yeah, I think he is in the gold league actually, but we're gonna talk more about that like after we get to the next segment, which this. But this is where then we got the tasteless Chicago fans and then started booing who was going to come out next because on stage celebration interview with Mr. Antonio Schiavone, the best commentator in All Elite Wrestling next to Excalibur. This is where he introduced still your TBS champion and the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, which he's going to be facing Hazuki for the women's New Japan Strong Women's Champion. It's your CEO Mercedes Moné. That's where she's like Chicago. Chicago with her, she's singing along about Chicago. Like, hopefully she's not turning to Trina Vega from Victorious. But anyways, this is where we got I'm saying, say hello to your cutest ever operator, and she's like, I said, say hello to me, and this where then Tony Schiavone's like. He's like, I want to, and this is where Tony Schiavone did start being a complete better journalist than Renee Paquette has ever been. And this is where he started saying, like, I want to congratulate you for your match, like a very tough match, you could say, against Kristen Statlander. Luckily, she got 3/4 of justice onto her. But this is where we got, the CEO. Then This is where Tony Schiavone then also complimented by like many calls, like maybe even including Antonio himself, then said I called the greatest women's match of all time, which I can say that's a candidate, like of course, because guess who was competing in that match, and I thank the CEO for getting some justice for all of us money makers. But anyways, this is where we got this is where Tony Schiavone did tell her how it feels. This is where she was well, first of all, Antonio, I have to tell you, it feels like money, of course. It's where some of the fans that have excellent taste and say, yeah, absolutely, because you need to have some money. But anyways, this is where we got this is where then Monet then asked Schiavone to make sure you have the microphone. This is where he politely having he step right to the side like a professional commentating journalist that he is. But this is where we got the Monet then continues. Despite my entire career, happened because this is where we saw a potential split up, if not already. This is where because this associate of Mercedes Moné, and that was Camille herself that just exploded and told her to shut the hell up. I'm like, who are you talking to like this? Like, that's your boss. Like, but this is where then we got Camille that said, "Are you stupid or dumb?" I'm like, what difference does that make? Because that's pretty much like the same question, but in different words. But it's where then she said she quit. But it's where then Mercedes, what she did, what? And that's why I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what? Like after all that she did for her, like she brought justice for her, against Kristen that broke her arm, and this is how she repays her. Like what the hell? Like gosh, like so ungrateful. But anyways, But this is where then Mercedes Moné is like, she gotta do this. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, do you know who she's dealing with? And she's quitting on. Like, nobody quits on the CEO. But this is where then, she was very pissed off, which who could blame her? Like, for her bodyguard and her brick house associate, decided to just walk out on her, like for some reason, no pun intended, from a couple years ago, from the status of the current TBS and New Japan Strong. But do you think this is going to lead up into a future match between the Brick House and the CEO at some capacity, maybe at World's End or maybe even Wrestle Dynasty, like maybe for both the New Japan Strong and the AEW TBS champion? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But let's move on to the next. This is where Antonio Schiavone started covering his face, not trying to laugh and looking out of embarrassment. Like, yeah, like this is very bad. But this is where we got a recap of what's his name of Big Boom AJ defeating what's his name QT Marshall. Just where then they show his kids eating some cookies. Maybe they're from the Costco store. Like, yeah, because they love doing those Costco videos on TikTok. But this is where we got yeah, Birdie. Oh, they're here. Good. Okay, just. Yeah, I know. I'll see them as soon as I get done. But anyway, Assassinators, this is where we got next up onto the video. We got the one of the two best matches of the night, the Golden Trophy, which I'm not sure if why am I giving them a second place spot with them not really doing anything like when it comes to with their voice. But yeah. It was the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, and his Learning Tree students, Redwood Big Bill, and Bad Apple Brian Keith. This is where Chris Jericho then wore a very hilarious cowboy hat. So him and the students are definitely going to be getting the silver trophy of the night, one each, of course, like a courtesy to Super Ninja Austin. But it's where we got him taking on Tomohiro Ishii, the stone-faced pit bull, from the rematch from 2 years ago to be exact. But it's where we got. Let's start off with them again, very physical, and let's just say this was a very bloody contest. And I guess I was wrong about Mark Briscoe in the number one spot, because this is where they started doing some chops, and I totally forgot about this. Like now I'm remembering it. This is where Chris Jericho started going chops. They're doing a chop off with who's going to get number one, but I think they did tie it's the number one hater of Gunther's that's on this envy list. For them hitting a signature move. This is where they start going back. When fans start booing Chris Jericho, and then the others start booing. When some was cheering for Chris Jericho while others were booing, while it was all cheers for Tomohiro Ishii. This is where they're like, woo! Like if the Nature Boy, Ric Flair was in the building, even though he's under a contract with AEW now, but unfortunately he wasn't in the building. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't hear anything about him being in Chicago tonight. But this is where then we got Chris Jericho, the Connor, and this is where then we got Ishii to start hitting more chops, like boom, I cannot feel. And this is where he hits a chop, but more. This is where Chris Jericho will hit a chop right back. They start going back and playing wrestling tennis. Who's gonna crack like a delicate egg? But it ended up being Chris Jericho that kind of cracked into a very delicate egg that it could possibly be. This is where we got. This is where we got Tomohiro Ishii. Then, hey, Grandpa. Do it by the clothesline. This is where we got Chris Jericho. Then Then I go for a close on their own, like with them thinking the same thing again, but this time they're both ready for each other. And when Chris Jericho, how about you go right there? How about you go into the bottom and I go on the top and see who did the hardest close on, like if they're MJF and Adam Cole, baby. This where then once they get to the towards the, and then Chris Jericho's like, psych, and like I tricked you, and he boot him right onto his arm, his right arm to be exact. This is where the stone face Pitbull ends up hitting the clothesline anyway once he bounced back from the bottom corner side. This is where then we got Tomohiro Ishii. Then it's like, okay, like he's down now. But what move I should hit him that's gonna guarantee me get a pinfall? It's where Ishii then hit some knife edge chop, trying to get the number one spot, but he just cannot stay in the lead. This is where he gets poked in the eye by Chris Jericho, which I understand. I never just allow that to happen. I thought that's the most illegalist maneuver in the disqualification wrestling matches. But this is where we got Chris Jericho like, hey guys! Like, I'll start dying with laughter. He never gets tiring to watch. He's one of the most entertaining guys in professional wrestling. But this is where we got, the learning tree teacher of AEW. They got Ishii right to DDT position with him spiking him right to the hardest part of the ring, which is the ring apron, more harder than any of my nephew's toys in here. But yeah, that with respect. But the CEO earlier on the screen, except even though they're on TV, but I still want to have that spirit, like of me, like I'm actually saying hello to them, like if I'm in the fan in attendance. And I sure hope I do go to an AEW show in the future. If everything goes according to plan, maybe you will see the assassin could make an appearance, I guess you could say. And you're gonna see me going up out of my chair, start waving at them because that's like two of my favorite wrestlers out of my top 100 list of AEW favorite wrestlers that I have. This is where we got the teacher of the learning tree, then grab onto the top part sign of the announce table, slamming Tomohiro Ishii right to the back in the process. And this is where Tommy was like, like the pain. And this is where then Chris Jericho was like, they're like, yeah, here's another lesson, boys. Like he was talking to both Redwood and Brian Keith, which I'm not sure what it was in particular, but this is where he done taught him a lesson like how to use the announce table sign properly, right into the back and not in the face, because the referee won't do nothing about it, just because you're not hanging on to the sign, so technically you're throwing at it like to him, but like the referee don't know that I'm using it as a weapon or blah blah blah. This is where Brian Keith and Big Bill's like interesting. They were taking notes when he was doing that stuff. Is where we got what else happened. It was what else happened after Jericho got back? And this is where they start hitting some strikes right onto each other, playing wrestling tennis with them like in bloody messes, like with Chris Jericho bleeding from the mouth while Tomohiro Ishii then it was bleeding out of his nose. This is where then we got Tomohiro Ishii then hit a right dunk right in the back of Jericho's head. This is where he didn't try to go for a clothesline, but this is where we got Jericho to hit another German suplex onto him, which I believe he probably was double lucky with the double whammy suplex. This is where they got Chris Jericho trying to go for the Judas effect, but he ends up getting clothesline in the interception, which I'm not sure if that was a reversal rather than probably like a more likely an interception. So I don't think that was a reverse. This is where both men were down. Like after that maneuver, this is where we got Tomohiro Ishii. Then they try to go running right up to Jericho, but this is where Jericho boot him right in the face. This is where he tried to go for a cold breaker, like they're thinking that was gonna be it. But this is where Tomohiro Ishii grab onto his leg, drop him down, start hitting some right elbow strikes right into the face onto the current Ring of Honor champion. This is where then we got Jericho then made SNA proud here when he did his finishing maneuver, the most dominating move in all of professional wrestling, the Assassin Valley Driver. But this is where we got Jericho then was like, you hear that? Like we hear lions roaring. This is where he hits a lion tamer right off the left corner side, which I'm still amazed that he can still do that maneuver, just like his former colleague over at the other company, which I cannot mention by name because it's the competition, but it's a guy wearing a mask. Like he does a move that's named after the phone number of San Diego. But this is where we got Chris Jericho. Then what's it called? He tried to go for a pin on the Ishii, but he gets the shoulder up at 2.7, if I'm mistaken. This is where Chris Jericho's like, what does it take? And this is where he starts screaming that out. This is where This is where then Big Bill to start explaining to Excalibur and Tony Schiavone and the rest of the commentators like how determined that Chris Jericho is to win in this match, and then how to teach us a few lessons about how to win championship matches and remain as a very prestigious champion in this business. Well, I would say the second most prestigious, next to the actual AEW World Championship, which is held by that crazy man from Cincinnati, which he's been drinking that horrible, toxic, disgusting water. But this is where we got Big Building. Was like, yeah, he's right up on top of the list. This is where Chris Jericho finally hit the Judas effect, which that was guaranteed right there. Even though that was like, I'd say, even though he didn't get reversed out of the second time, but he still got successful. This is where he got however, he did got the guaranteed code breaker because he tried to hit that maneuver on the Ishii, but he stopped him by countering out of it. This is where we got Jericho try to go for a cover. But this is where Abior's counted the one, and I mean, she only counted the one even. And then right after that, Tomohiro got up at two, up one even. Like I have never seen nobody kick out of the code breaker like ever at one even. Like Tomohiro Ishii is something, unhuman. Like I'd say that's the best term to use. Like you're some kind of he's some kind of a different being from a totally different world. For him kicking out of a move like that, one of the most, I'll say one of the most powerful one of the most powerful and the most annihilating moves in professional wrestling, I should say. But this is where we got Tomohiro Ishii to try to run up to Jericho. He tried to go for the walls of Jericho, but this is where he ends up turning it around to a flying head scissor. And this is where we got Tomohiro Ishii to hit a double hands to the midsection. This is where he hits the headbutt right onto Chris Jericho. This is where he hits a spear right onto the head of Chris Jericho rather than his waist and his ribs. This is where he tried to go for a pin onto the learning tree teacher. But this is where Chris Jericho gets the shoulder up at 2.9, if I'm mistaken. This is where Brian Keefe, that was so damn, Big Bill's that's so damn close. With Brian Keefe agreeing with his classmate of the learning tree. This is where he's like, yeah, so close. But I better hope that he does respect him at the end of this match, or he will get beaten up by me. And this is where then we got Tomohiro Ishii right after he said, right after he said that, Tomohiro Ishii then went up and hit a code breaker. I guess trying to do some insult to injury, not only to the teacher and Chris Jericho, but one of his students, the man that always get provoked when Chris Jericho gets disrespected. But this is where we got we got Tomohiro then was on fire at that point. Like once he hit the code breaker, this is where about his finishing maneuver, that Iron Stone lariat right onto Chris Jericho. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but he almost got the three, but Chris Jericho got the left shoulder at 2.999, double triple nine minus 0.1 away from being three. But this is where we got Tomohiro then picks up Jericho. This is where then he tried to go for, I believe, the Brain Buster, was it? But this is where Chris Jericho counted out of it. This is where he goes for the wrist lock, but he ends up getting step up insecure by the stone face Pitbull. This is where he got back up while Jericho got on his knees and nearly fell face first on the ground. This is where then we got Tomohiro Ishii then go for a running clothesline, but he realized that's not a guarantee because he already hit that maneuver. This is where Chris Jericho picked up a third time as a charm card, hits him with the spinning Judas effect out of nowhere. This is where then both men were down in the ground at that point. Getting Jericho to get back up and retain his Ring of Honor champion just like he did 2 years ago. Like in his first reign with the title, this is where he did so. Did another Judas effect, which he must have found a Grand Slam card to make sure that he could seal the deal for a 1, 2, 3, which he did. For the retainers Ring of Honor World Championship. And give a huge congratulations to the learning tree teacher. And I sure hope that I've learned some of his wisdom in the future. Unfortunately, not now, but maybe one day that could happen. But let me know down in the comment section right down below about that. And also, what do you think was next for Chris Jericho now that he remains as Ring of Honor champion? And some of the marks probably on the internet is going to be groaning and start complaining about it later on the night or maybe tomorrow. Say, Chris Jericho retained and he's in his 50s now. He should not deserve to be Ring of Honor champion. Don't come in my house and say Chris Jericho don't deserve that title. He sure damn do deserve that world championship. So like, if you don't have nothing nice to say on Twitter or any of the social platforms, don't say nothing nice at all, just like my great grandma used to say. But yeah, let me know down in the comments, assassinators, like those positivity assassins, and who should be the one to dethrone Chris Jericho. That's a very interesting statement. But we're gonna move on to the next slide, is where we got the what's it called, the running treats start celebrating in the ring, and this is where we snap backstage to the unmarkable Renee Paquette, which I understand why Excalibur calls her the remarkable. There's not anything remarkable for to say anything about her. I'm not trying to say anything negative, but just saying, like, just because she speaks unprofessional to those that she does not like, being quite biased, what she did with Swerve Strickland. Well, I'm not sure if I should be saying that, because Jon Moxley could be right around the corner. No, he'll be right around the corner very soon, but let's hope not near your favorite super ninja YouTube assassin. But anyway, this is where we got Renee Paquette said, unfortunately, you suffered a loss by the hands of the almighty Bobby Lashley, and then she's like, and how are you going to recover from this big L? And this is where the Swerve Strickland's like, yeah, Renee, like I'm building something that I do very well here, like, or let me rephrase that me and my client, not my client, my advocate, Nana, right in the left, this is where this was like, win or loss, like I figure it out one way or another. And I've never been hit by somebody like Bobby in my life. This is where we got Max Caster thought this was a funny joke that Swerve would say. So he's like, that's a good one, Swerve. This is where Swerve was like, hey, yo, boy, like, what do you mean by that? Like, my man, like Max a million. Like, he's like, it's like, what's so funny about that? This is where the Max Caster, oh, nothing. Like what you just said right there. Like it's like, and what the main funny person in this room is you, Swerve. Like, and this is where then he did continue. But you've also the Credential Center, and then this is where Renee Paquette's not looking at him in disgust, because she still cannot get those comments that Max Caster said about her, like, doing another oral session. Well, it sounds very inappropriate, but it's the name of her podcast that she does on YouTube. But anyway, this is where we got Max Caster. It's like, and this is where he's like, and last week, like, when you lost to Bobby Lashley in that same building, like, ain't that like at the Prudential Center, like ain't that the same place that I beat you 2 years ago to become the AEW World Tag Team Championship? It's where the Max Caster was like, okay, let's do a little bit of comment. Let's go right to Bob here in Chicago because everybody loves the best wrestler of alive. And I was like, yeah, not the but the thing is, there's not the only guy that they like in Chicago, but rather than both you and your kayfabe brother Anthony Bowens and y'all's adopted father, daddy ass, not Big Bill, Billy Gunn. That's what his name is, of course. But this is where then we got and this is where then this is where they added saying, like, you used to be in that House of Fire, Swerve, like a house. You got a house, and that's very extremely dangerous. And that's where Swerve should go, oh, I'll show you some extremely dangerous. That's where he pushes him right into the wall. It's like, you think you're funny, huh? And this is where he tossed him right over to the box of like structure. This is where he hits some right hands right to the face onto Max Caster. I was like, well, you asked for it. Like, he shouldn't have been talking sugar honey iced tea on him. This is where he threw him right to the box like structure. He gets punt kicked right to the face, which I've never thought Swerve would ever do, or any wrestler could do in that matter. Like, since Randy Orton have been using it for a little while now. But last time I checked, it was probably he successfully hit a punt kick was like back in 2020 when he did that to Drew McIntyre. But that's the only wrestlers I'm gonna say from the other company. But it's I'm trying to make a point here, which I shouldn't have name dropped them right here at this time. But what are your thoughts onto this tease of a feud between the former AEW World Champion and Tag Team Champion against the other former AEW Tag Team Champion? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. And do you think this is very interesting? Do you think this could be a sign that we could also see a breakup with the Acclaim, with Max Caster leaving both Anthony Bowens and at least I thought that we would, but that was not the case. But I guess that's a positive onto that note. But this is where we got what's his name? Tony Schiavone's like, I hate to be the man to bring up your devastating loss against the Switchblade Jay White. This is where then he was like, Like on this past Saturday, you lost your match against Jay White. Like, you understand the facts here. I'm not trying to be a biased, favoritized commentator. Like, I'm just pointing out what actually happened. And yeah, that's fair enough. You got to respect that, even if you don't like the guy. But it's where then he continued by saying, you also laid your hands on an official, which that's Christopher Daniels, the incompetent bald biscuit head, which he didn't seem incompetent. He was actually doing his job by actually putting the crazy ones in check, which that he should. But anyways, but yeah, like I've totally forgot to tell you, Assassinators, that on my review video for AEW Full Gear. But that's where then we got. He's like, But you also attacked Willa Yuta and seemingly like we're helping Christian Cage secure his world title match. Like if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Help us, help us. What's the reason why? This is where he then snaps the microphone and shoves him. I was like, "What's your problem, bro?" Because like that's not how you treat a guy that's actually doing his job. But this is where then we got Hangman Adam Page then got on the microphone. He was like, "First of all, Antonio," and this is where fans are booing him. Which that's the one thing I agree with the Chicago fans. Rather than much opposite for them booing the wrong wrestler, but. Anyway, this is where we got Hangman Adam Page. Is yeah, first of all, Christopher Daniels, get in my way. I will not back down on his ass. And again, the next time, he will not get back up. Do you understand me, Antonio? This is where Antonio Schiavone was like, yeah, whatever you say. And this would then what's his name? Hangman Adam Page then continued by saying, and as for Full Gear, a deal in Christian, if you've been able to keep up your end of the deal, I'll be coming back home tomorrow to my hometown to celebrate Thanksgiving with my family and eating a bowl full of stuffing with a world championship around my waist. I was like, ain't that Christian Cage's contract and not yours? So why are you trying to claim his opportunity for your benefits? Even though that's what Christian Cage normally do, maybe he deserves this. But like the old saying goes, two wrongs don't make a right. But anyway, this is where we got Hangman Adam Page then continue by stating that he was like, and maybe I should have done what I was supposed to do in the first place. And make myself very absolutely clear, before my intention is, and then that's always been, to be the AEW Men's World Championship, and not the women's that the Mariah May is holding on to. And this where then, this is Hangman Page. It should have never been Swerve Strickland. It shouldn't have been Brian, and it shouldn't have been Moxley. It should have been my possession. Of the cover the AEW World Champs, but this is where he immediately got interrupted after his rant of complaining that it shouldn't have been all those wrestlers in AEW's prize to be winning, much rather than be his forever. If it wasn't for that meddling guy that came from here, I guess that was the shot of the guy that's going to be teaming with the OTC this Saturday, which I don't think he's even thinking about his days, his good old days, even at the other company. And what are you doing? Come on, Sammy. Come on, lay down. But it's where we got Switchblade and interrupting him. Maybe it was for the best. My boy, the leader of the Bang Bang Gang, then came out. This is where he was like, Chicago Bullet Club, go tonight. And that's where then fans start putting up the guns. And it's where it's babies. And then it's where then Jay White, you see, and this is perfect because I got a question for you. I would love to know, tell you, Mr. Page, what happened to your match, with Switchblade Jay White, at Full Gear, And this is where Hangman Adam Page I don't want to talk about, and don't remind me, or else you're gonna be sorry. This is where Jay White did not listen. This is where then he said exactly what he wanted to say, which is the complete opposite what Hangman wanted him to say, and this is where he does it. And this was about with him beating him by making some subliminal message about it. This is where he's what happened in your match with Switchblade Jay White, at Wrestle Dream, first of all, before I get into Full Gear, oh, that's right. We all I think you. I don't think you remember that, but I'm gonna tell you who does remember, and that is the Chicago crowd, and it's where the fans like, hell yeah, we do. This is where Hangman happened. Like not only you lost one of those matches on 2 of those pay-per-views, but you lost 2 of those matches, Hangman. It was like Switchblade here, like it beat Hangman, like, and if anybody is gonna be coming out like one true king, like in the AEW World Champion scene, like it sure is not, it'll not be you, Heyman. It'll be the Switchblade. And this is where Heyman plays like, oh yeah, like prove it if you could be AEW World Champion without stealing it and officially winning it. And this is where then as Switchblade Jay White then even offered him another shot at him and take another and final third L onto their next encounter. This is where he's like, and he even said that by saying like, maybe I should give you a little bit of a reminder of that. This was like he's like, and if 5 times still isn't enough of somebody beating you, like, and if you still like to have another taste of the Switchblade, like, I'll be happily giving you that. Which he offered it in right at the building they were located at in Chicago. This is where the Chicago fans were living. But it's where he gets immediately interrupted by before he can even make it official. That's where he gets tripped right over his face first, right into the hardest part ring, the ring apron, all thanks to the bastard Pac that just came from behind. That's where then he threw him right to Barry's tombstone, right to the bottom corner side, hitting him belly first, making him fly in midair. This is where the Pac was like, you could be next if you want to jump Froggy and try to run up to me. This is where Hangman like, no, you come up and run to me and see what will happen. This is where then he gets ambushed behind by Wheeler Yuta. This is where they did a 2-on-1 beatdown until we got the Switchblade and came in and came for the save. This is where I was getting well invested because I was rooting for my man Jay White by beating down all 2 of the members of the Death Rider. This is where he sent him right to the outside with throwing Wheeler Yuta right to the left. This is where then he sent the same Pac into the same direction with a Dragon Double Nelson suplex right into that side. Is where then we got the Hangman Page and turn around, hit him with this very powerful lariat that looked like a standing running lariat. That's where like he was having his foot was giving up on him, like in his left side. This is where then we got Marina Shafir's right behind him. He turned around, he gets whacked right into the face with the briefcase, that whatever that's inside, maybe the disgusting substance about with the that's the material that they make their water in Cincinnati, which that sounds very gross and vomiting and nauseating and very I'll say, what's that other word, like very nauseating, yeah. But anyway, this is where we got Marina Shafir. Then they grab onto the briefcase where she tried to do the same to Jay White. But this is where Jay White intercepted her and then he tried about to hit the Blade Runner, which I was shouting. But first I was yelling, "Where's Willow the Pillow?" Like this past Saturday. And we got Jay White almost hit the Blade Runner. This is where the man that was very offended with Jay White tried to make Renee Paquette say his catchphrase, the "bang bang gang," because it sounds inappropriate to the female journalist. This is where Jon Moxley finally found a chance to try and murk him because he grabbed him from behind, started hitting him with a sleeper. He's like, "If I ever see you talk to my wife, I gotta get like." Like, I will fully kill you, Jay White, about exactly. I guess he's reeking what he stole. And then there was like a 5-on-1 beatdown, if I'm not mistaken. The segment ended. And what are your thoughts on this? And do you think we could be seeing a potential bang bang gang? It's probably all part of the kayfabe. But either way, let me know down in the comment section right down below if team Jay White and his crew, the Guns and Juice Robinson, are going to have a female member, which that's the only female member I could possibly think of at the moment. But this is where we move on to the next slide. This is where we got. This is what Jon Moxley like, who wants our water? This is where fans are like, no, that's another thing that I agree on. Who wants to taste that disgusting water? I assume that Chicago is much more of a better city than that city that's up in the northern side, more northern side, over in the east side of the American country. And that is, Cincinnati, the most horrible city in all of the United States of America. But this is where we got Claudio Castagnoli then came out. Man, the Hurricane get them all right here in my once wrestled at. But this is where he Tuesday is is the most the dangerous man that don't care if he even injured and injured. Yeah. But 2 years later, like they're now in this company, All Elite Wrestling, of course. But this is where we got the match starting. This is where Claudio Castagnoli going for a waistlock. Ricochet counter to what's it called, headlock, but he ends up getting pushed right into the bottom corner side. He gets shoulder tackle, and let me tell you, this match definitely gets the bronze trophy of the night, for being so darn good, and entertaining. When this is where we got this gimmick is the Death Riders, but I can't argue the fact that he is to the bottom corner side. He goes for another duck. This is where he goes for a slide guy. Claudio Castagnoli grab onto the foot, try to go from the bottom corner to go to the top. This is where he try to go for a sliding hurricane right to the top corner. Claudio Castagnoli stops him. This is where he then try to go for a power bomb. This is where we got Ricochet trying to turn it into a sunset flip. This is where Claudio picks him right back up. Ricochet then slide hurricane runs him right to the outside, the bottom corner side. This is where we got. That's where we got Ricochet goes for what's that called? A handstand flip right to the bottom corner side. Get a back flip. This is where then he's like Claudio stops him. This is where then he picks him up and hits a snake eye right into the top. We're 100% satisfied for this match. I think they thought this was the match of the night, which I'll say I think this would probably have ring. That's where Claudio then send him right. Continue. Parrish did surrender. This is where Claudio Castro. This is where I go for a cartwheel dive, which he successfully did onto Claudio and Ricochet, which I was like, now they're probably likely my finishing maneuver, but with him still, with you still holding him on your shoulders, while hitting him with the maneuver, which that's the Dream Valley driver, into the Golden League, if the advantage kicks out of it. That's where he hits a European uppercut onto Ricochet's that he did is where Cleo. So I guess I'll give him a pass for that. But because Ricochet, I'm not sure in particular, but let me know down in the comments below about it either way. But this is where he gets number one into the Golden Leagues. He gets the